Alright, hey guys, welcome back to Olson's Garage. This is going to be the review of my 1982 Honda Magna. This was kind of the Harley-Davidson Magna build. I ended up putting this on here, and I ended up putting Sportster shocks on here, which is kind of a pain in the butt, but it ends up making the rear end feel a lot nicer. I did put 4-into-1 headers on here with this really nice cone exhaust pipe here, muffler. Let's start out with some specs. So this is a 1982. This is the first V4 Honda produced. It was this and the Sabre. This is a VFC for cruiser, and they made the VFS for Sabre. There's a car coming, so I gotta not be weird in the road. So let's get some specs out of the way. This bike produces 80 horsepower at 9,500 RPM. This thing does rev out to 10,000 RPM, which is really fun. We have a 6-speed transmission that is a shaft drive, which makes the rear end feel a little weird compared to like a chain drive. It is a V4, it is liquid cooled, it does have these really goofy Keen CV carbs that were custom made for the V4 at the time. But performance wise, it does have dual disc brakes up front, it has a drum in the rear, and it has this sissy bar, which is aftermarket thing. It has a hydraulic clutch, which is really nice, really smooth. This bike does have a Barnett's clutch in it with some heavy duty springs, just because my old springs were slipping really bad. I do have a video. I'll link all the other videos related to this bike in the description. But yeah, dual disc. I ended up putting a Shinko 777 up front. It is a 120/90/18 that doesn't really fit it right. I would, if I were you guys, I would do a 110 so that you can make the stock upper fender fit properly. And then it has this old qualifier in the back, which I should really put a Shinko 777 on the back too. This thing handles really good. You can take these caps off and you can put air into the forks, only like 6 psi though. These are 39mm forks, and like I said, these are Harley Sportster shocks. Liquid cooled. It does have a fan for when it starts to overheat. What else can I say? I think that's about it. It's a pretty fun bike, so let's hop on this thing and ride it. Alright, so it does have a center stand, which is really nice. And along with that, it has a kickstand as well. So let's turn this thing on. Lights turn on. It does have a choke lever right here, but this bike was running already, so just like that, right to life. It does have a throttle lock, which I find really nice for just cruising at 1 RPM, which is pretty nice. The thing sounds sweet, especially with the 4-into-1. Stock, these things sound kind of whatever, boring. High-low turn signals, oil for low oil pressure, tail light, I think for when your tail light's out, which is kind of cool. It does have a fuel light. This one does not work because it uses a uses some goofy way to measure the fuel using resistance and heat, and it's kind of goofy. They're really hard to find parts for. I was going to try and fix mine. My order never shipped. I said screw it. Hydraulic front discs, hydraulic clutch, which is really nice. I ended up putting these different bars on that pull my arms forward a little bit, so I'm not really leaned back. I'm sitting a little bit more forward. These bars make my back hurt a lot less. So let's go rip this thing. This does have a 6-speed transmission, and the 6th gear is actually an overdrive, so 5th gear would be 1-to-1. And when the overdrive comes on, it's really cool in these early models because they'll actually change the color with the color of the bike. So if you have a blue bike, the overdrive light will be blue, or if you have a red bike, the overdrive light will be red. And I think they made a black bike, which I guess I don't know, maybe the color was black, a black light, maybe a black tint, I don't know. Now if you were to get one of these, I would pretty highly recommend rebuilding the shocks right away. I think that would be a great upgrade. Along with that, maybe finding some stiffer shocks like I did. Kind of makes the whole bike feel a lot better. open road so I can show you guys what this thing's actually made out of. But while we're in town, we'll just cruise. It's kind of fun because when you're in overdrive at like low speed, this thing does kind of sound like a Harley with that V-twin noise. But it's a V4, so it likes to get rowdy too. And this thing has a ton of torque too. Now I did buy another bike to replace this bike, so unfortunately the reason for this video is that I'm getting rid of it, and I just wanted to make a video, a review for this bike. I will say passenger accommodations are really nice on this bike. Autumn and I took this all the way up and down the what would that be? All the way up and down the north coast of Door County. We started basically in Sturgeon Bay and we went all the way up to the ferry. It was a super cool ride. One day I'll post that video just kind of for fun to show you guys, but I'll leave a little snip here on Snake Road, which I actually took this bike on. Really cool. I definitely wouldn't trailer my bike all the way up there to specifically ride Snake Road because you're going to be surprisingly disappointed in it, but it was a really fun experience, and that whole day was really fun. We did that for our 1-year anniversary, or our 1-year wedding anniversary, which was really cool. Oh, also highway pegs. These are fantastic. Any street bike I have, I will always try and put highway pegs on. They make riding and cruising so much nicer. Oh, that's just a dead end up there. Oh, well, I can't shift this thing. Not letting me. Looks like a country road to me. Guys are fishing. Alright, let's maybe try this one more time. There we go. My goodness. I do really love the bop, bop, bop. It just pulls so hard. A little wheelie over that. Oh, puppies. Puppies. Yeah, I mean, if you're in it, this thing will definitely wheelie over stuff. And then, you know, the front end's not super tight, so it can definitely get you in trouble. Look at this. Cruising back roads, early spring. Can't get better than this. gonna be able to do it again. Can we do it from a dig maybe? Now if I could get this thing to shift, I'm wearing my steel toe, so I'm kind of not perfectly good at shifting this thing in these, but I'm getting dangerously, I'm getting way too used to my dirt bike, and then I get on a different bike and I feel like a ding dong and I can't shift right. But yeah, this thing's fun. And then, you know, you go right back to just cruising it. So the throttle lock on and just chill. The throttle lock I do really like. Just sit here and you can cruise. It's a fun bike if you just like cruising. Yeah, alright guys, so I'm going to give you my my final thoughts on this. If you're looking for a cheap cruiser, obviously I would buy Japanese. If you're looking for a fast cruiser, I would probably buy a Honda Magna or any of the V4 variants of this bike. I mean, you got the V45, you got the V65, which is really fun. You got the 700 when they started doing the tariff stuff. The 65 was exempt from that, ironically, because it was actually made in America, which is really cool. 700s, they do have VF interceptors with a 500. I think they make a 500cc Magna too. They got the Sabres. They're basically all the same platform. The only thing is that the interceptors, the engine's actually canted back a little bit more to help with weight distribution, where this engine's canted much farther forward. Dual overhead cams. The interceptors more or less had the cam issue. The Magnas didn't as much have that same cam fudge issue. And that was the whole reason they went to all the gear driven cams and everything. And then they made those bikes basically indestructible. Get into 6th gear right away so we can cruise and we can chat. So basically any of these bikes are really, really magnificent. It feels, I mean, other than it's carbureted, it feels fairly modern. There's nothing on this bike that's extremely old. You don't have points on this bike. It has CDIs and it has hydraulic disc brakes. It has a drum in the back, which is fine. I mean, it brakes perfectly fine. There's never a time I would consider that drum brake a hindrance in braking performance. It's a great bike. It feels modern enough. It doesn't feel like you're riding a CB or anything like that, where those just kind of feel old. This feels modern. It's water cooled. It's a great bike. Hydraulic clutch is really nice. It's really smooth, and you can get away with putting really heavy springs in it. I thought I could go. Maybe not. We're still waiting. I don't know how long I'm gonna wait here though. Little Grom ripping it. I think I'm just gonna blow this. I don't think this thing can read my weight. Oh, see, it's changing to yellow, but I don't know if that's gonna do anything. Now it's red. Those are still green. I'm running this thing. yeah, there's a bunch of varieties of these bikes in different platforms. You have the Interceptor, you have the Sabre, and then you have the Magna, which is a VFC, and then there's the VFS, and then there's the Interceptors, which are basically like the VFRs, before they were called VFRs. VF stands for V4. It's pretty self-explanatory there. And yeah, I think this is definitely Honda's first V4. This might even be one of their first water-cooled bikes too. And I think the water cooling and the hydraulic disc brakes really kind of turned this bike into a modern feeling bike. It handles really well. I mean, obviously the rear suspension feels a lot better. That's been changed. You could probably rebuild these forks. These are 39mm conventional forks. There is the track braking system, which doesn't make the bike dive as much, but you want to keep that loose, because if it doesn't dive, it'll actually what's the word I'm looking for here? It'll actually skid the front tire, and it ended up being really dangerous. So you always want to make sure you have that soft. The 82, I believe, is the only one with the speedometer that only went to 80. As these bikes went on, they actually went to 160, 140, I believe. And then with the VF 700 cruisers, they were still called V45s. A lot of people call them V42s. That's technically what they are. The V65 and the V45 actually mean cubic inches, which is kind of crazy. It's weird to have that on a Japanese bike. Oh crap, I totally should have gone. That was a mistake. Maybe I'll turn left instead. They look like they're driving really, really slow. I hope I make it. Yeah, so that's pretty much my final thoughts. If you can get one of these, if you want a cruiser and you want it for cheap and you want a fast cruiser that's a lot of fun and handles surprisingly well, get a Magna. People love these things. They sound amazing at basically any RPM, whether you're just putting or you're screaming the thing to 10,000 RPM. It's a lot of fun. If your bike doesn't have a 4x1, I would really recommend that. I would maybe be a little less cheap and actually find a nicer muffler for it. But, oh, is this a road plate? Oh yeah. Don't mind my lazy shifting. But yeah, get one. They're a lot of fun. They sound great. They cruise. Personally, for me, I like sitting upward more than I like sitting kind of back. It ends up hurting my lower back real bad, so I changed out the bars. These bars are pretty cheap, and they canted it forward just enough for me to feel a little bit more comfortable on this thing. Personally, another reason why I'm getting rid of this thing, it's not comfortable. My back is a little messed up, so I like a bike that leans forward a little bit more. And as I'm riding dirt bikes more, I'm kind of getting into that a lot more, so I think we're gonna not take a hiatus from street bikes, but definitely slow down on the street bike front, just because, you know, with drivers getting worse, and this isn't an excuse or anything, I'll still have street bikes. Like, I definitely want a VFR still, but as roads seem to get a little bit less safe and people drive like dummies, I'm definitely going to focus on dirt bikes. Dirt bikes are so much fun, and you can really, you know, crank out the full horsepower potential of a dirt bike, which makes it really, really fun to me, especially. So that's it. That's my review of the 1982 Honda Magna. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you guys next time.